my dear friends and my dear family. What a week this has been. So this week, like other weeks, has started out slow and picked up speed. On Monday we went to that same language class where the Spanish people learn English and the English people learn Spanish, and I met a person there from Ukraine who was learning English and Spanish, so it was doubly beneficial for her. Her name was Marie too, it was Maria. On Wednesday, our ward had a YSA FHE activity, which stands for Young Single Adult Family Home Evening. It was super fun. The missionaries gave the lesson and we talked about families and how families are important, and it kind of made me homesick, honestly, but it was fine. We played a ping pong game afterwards involving 6 people. Everybody had their own paddle and we basically ran around the table and took turns hitting the ball back and forth at each other. And on Thursday, we left on our big trip of the week. We got all packed, got up early in the morning, and got on the bus. We made sure to bring our passports. The first place we stopped after several hours on the bus was a museum in Bilbao. It's called the Guggenheim Museum, and it was pretty cool. There was a maze in there made out of wood, and the point of the maze was all about sound waves and how sound travels. We walked through the wood, and some of the walls were tilted this way, and some were tilted that way, and some were tilted sideways, and some were tilted to the other side. I was getting kind of dizzy walking down the halls, but when you clapped inside, it would echo like this. It was super cool. I was really tempted to sing, but I didn't want to interrupt the other people's visits. There were also some famous paintings from Picasso, Claude Monet, and Van Gogh. I got to go up close to Van Gogh's paintings, and the texture is so interesting because he uses so much acrylic paint. It adds a lot of movement to the piece. One Picasso painting that I really liked was a girl going like this with yellow hair and a purple kind of background, and it just looked like such a peaceful painting. Like, I loved the movement of it. It was all curved, and it made me feel happy feelings. Outside of the museum, there was a playground, and it was pretty flippin' sweet. They had the biggest ropes course I'd ever seen. They had 2 metal slides. I'm pretty sure that playground was designed by artists. On Thursday night, we arrived in a hotel in San Sebastian. I got to room with Jamie and Emily. It was a triple room. Then in the morning, we went to Biarritz, France. Now I'm thinking we're only gonna see Spain on this trip, but no, we're gonna go see France. Oui, oui. Baguettes. Oh, baguettes in France were way better than this one. Mais oui, we went to France. The first French town we went to was called Biarritz. I'm not sure if I said that right. We went and visited a lighthouse, which was really cool. It made me think about an address that Jeffrey R. Holland gave to the students at BYU Hawaii one time, and he talked about being a lighthouse. He said, don't go to your first job or first neighborhood or first staff meeting and just start to act like everybody else. Be strong. Be true. Teach rather than being taught. You can't control everyone's morals, but you can control your own. You can't control everyone's language, but you can control your own. You can't control everyone's personal standards, but you can control your own. And thus the light of the gospel can shine wherever you go. So that's what I was thinking about while we were visiting the lighthouse. Me and Anu actually walked around, and we found this cool little secret stairway that went up to this little grass place. That was pretty. The second French city we went to was called Saint-Jean-de-la-Luz, which means St. John of the Light. It used to be a fishing town, and we went to this old church that was partially made out of boats. When we went inside the church, it was like wooden, so I wasn't really feeling a boat vibe until I walked in the back. In the back it was dark, like the inside of a boat, and the wood floors and the wood walls and the wood benches were all giving me boat vibes. And I honestly started to sway a little bit, even though the floor wasn't moving. It was kind of interesting. It actually made me think of another quote. N. Russell Ballard gave a talk about the old ship Zion and how President Brigham Young used to compare the church to a ship. I remember he described one of the people saying, oh, I don't think this is the real ship, I'm gonna jump off. And they're like, bro, we're in the middle of the ocean, what are you thinking? He's like, I don't care, I'm jumping off, bloop. And then he just drowns. Then Brigham Young said, we are on the old ship Zion. God is at the helm and he will stay there. All is right. Sing hallelujah, for the Lord is here. He dictates, guides, and directs. If the people will have implicit confidence in their God, never forsake their covenants or their God, he will guide us right. I'm really loving all the physical metaphors I get to see as I'm studying abroad. In the boat church, there was also a person playing the organ, kind of in a creepy way, like do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It made me think of Davy Jones in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, I can't remember which one. And I wanted to like go up and play the organ myself if I could, but the door was locked, so it was just this faceless organist plunking away. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Ooh, creepy. Then still in St. John, we had a minute to walk around, so we did. We went to this tiny little shop and we got paninis, and let me tell you, paninis are basically a sandwich that got flattened. Mostly made out of cheese, maybe a few other things. Literally so good. Mwah! Très bon! I also stopped by this pastry shop and got a pastry straight from France. You know, before I thought France probably has the best food in the world. Now I know France has the best food in the world. My expectations were not high for the pastry, but when I bit into it, I was like, oh, it was so good. It was like bread, but within the bread somehow there was elements of chocolate and banana and almond and powdered sugar and so many good things. It was so good. I also picked up this branch. I don't really know why. It just kind of called out to me. But it's a French branch. Say that 5 times fast. French branch, French branch, French branch, French branch. I also picked up some sea treasures off the beach in France. I don't know if you can see super well, but I got like a shell, some sea glass, you know, more shells. Pretty good haul. In France, there was also some docks that we walked out on, and although the docks were actually floating and moving in the water, I felt less seasick on the docks than I did in the boat church. Needless to say, Friday was kind of a long day, and I was ready to just go back to the hotel and chill. But everybody else was raring to go explore the town we were staying in, San Sebastian. This was kind of a discouraging moment for me because I didn't want to be a party pooper and let everybody down, but I really didn't want to go out and walk in the rain. I know, rain's a lame excuse. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. So it was about 6:30 and I decided to just stay in the hotel for the rest of the evening. Before I started feeling too sorry for myself, I decided to take a look at myself. I prayed a little bit, I read a little bit, and as it turns out, you don't need a specific type of personality to be qualified to go study abroad. All you need is the right attitude. I was doubting myself thinking, oh, all these party animals, maybe I'm not the right type to go study abroad. Maybe this whole entire thing was a mistake and a waste of money and time. But now I don't think that at all. This is an amazing opportunity. I'm so happy to be here. So what if I need a little extra rest now and again? Doesn't mean I can't party it up, which I proved to everybody the very next day. So on Saturday, we had another 4-star breakfast. Ooh, I forgot to talk about the breakfast. It was so good. Pretty much the most elegant breakfast I've ever had at a hotel. Also, in the hotel, there was music playing, and it was like weird alternative versions of songs that we all knew really well. The song Summer of '69 played, instead of being like, I got my first real 6-string over at the 5 a.m. time. It was like, do, I got my first real 6-string over at the 5 and dime. And I was like, it was weird, but it was really fun to guess what the song was. I think somebody should make that into a game. Guess the alternative version of songs. Speed up slow songs and slow down fast songs. Make hip-hop songs jazzy. Make rap songs operatic. Alright, stop, collaborate, and listen. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Okay, maybe not that one. So we went to go explore San Sebastian. It was very, very rainy when we first went out, and I thought, oh, it's just gonna be rainy again. I might as well get used to it, and I wore my poncho. But then the rain cleared up. Brother Madden had said, hey, if you want to, you can go swim in the ocean. And I said, sure. You know, I love swimming in the ocean. But I think he might have meant it as a joke, but then I didn't get it was a joke. Long story short, guess who went in the ocean? So I was the only one. I felt a little bit bad because everybody had to wait on the beach for me, but they didn't seem to mind that much. It was super, super cold, but that made it really fun. I didn't have a wetsuit or a kayak like the other people in the water, so I just kind of body surfed for a few minutes. It was still super fun. Of course, as the day went on, we were all a little bit cold, a little bit tired, and I thought to myself, you know, it's understandable if you're cold or tired, but to say that and to keep saying that is probably not the most helpful thing. I tried to turn my negative thoughts into positive ones. Instead of thinking, oh, I'm so cold, I would think to myself, oh, I'm so cold in Spain. Instead of thinking to myself, oh, I'm so hungry, I would think to myself, oh, I'm so hungry, but later I'm gonna go eat food in Spain. So I think I messed up the timeline a little bit. All that happened on Friday night. Fix the time stream, everything's aligned now, wait. So on Saturday morning was when we actually drove out. We went from the beachy, kind of cold, rainy coast of France and Spain down to the tundra-like winter wonderland of Burgos. Burgos was amazing! So we arrived in Burgos, Spain. Burgos? More like Burgos. It was cold. Do you know how many degrees Celsius it was? 3 degrees of glory! It was very, very cold. We went to go see the Santa Maria Cathedral. A cathedral which, until I saw a scale model of the thing, didn't realize how huge it was. It was pretty huge. One time I read somewhere that all the gold in the whole entire world put together is only as big as a 20-foot cube. So 20 feet by 20 feet by 20 feet. And I'm pretty sure in this cathedral I saw 78% of that gold. There was a lot of gold. It was very ornate. I was enjoying some of the history. It turns out that the original cathedral wasn't that big, but people kept adding pieces onto it. One of the places that they added onto was about the birth of the Virgin Mary. And I was looking at the wall like, I don't remember this in the Bible, but it was nice to look at. If a certain bishop donated enough money, he could add on his own wing and be buried there. There was a bunch of graves inside the cathedral. At the very end of the indoor portion of our tour, there was this plain statue. This statue stood out to me. The other statues were all fancy, gold leaf, Renaissance, blah. This statue was made of metal, and it was pretty simple. It looked like a young boy with a white button-down and dark trousers. It also had rough-hewn wings coming out the back. Immediately my mind thought of Joseph Smith. Dismissively, our tour guide said, "Oh, and this is a statue, I don't know who made it, but it's called Angel and it's more recent." And I was just looking at it for a long time. I was thinking, that's straight up Joseph Smith in this cathedral. I thought it's only appropriate that with all these other saints that they're worshipping, Joseph Smith should have a spot. And so I asked the lady, the angel, does he have a name? And she was like, "Oh, no, he's just the angel." And I'm like, "I'm going to call him Joseph Smith." And she was like, "Okay, whatever." That was a really cool moment for me. I'm sad I didn't get a picture of the statue. We walked outside and we saw the village square, and we saw a statue of a woman selling chestnuts, which there used to be a lot more women selling chestnuts on the street, I think, and so they made a statue to commemorate that. Now, chestnut in Spanish is castañeda, and I actually knew a family of castañedas when I was on my mission, so I was like, oh, castañeda, that's what it means. Everything was de Santa Maria. It was like the bridge of Santa Maria, the plaza of Santa Maria, the courtyard of Santa Maria. Now everybody was super freezing cold, so we all got chocolate and churros. So now we're back in Alcalá, and it's not cold anymore. I'm happy, I'm pumped, I'm loving this trip. I am super excited to keep learning and keep having awesome experiences with this super cool group. But that's all for this week. Ciao for now!